The information provided in this video is for educational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have seen in this presentation. The creators of this video are not medical professionals. You open Instagram and there they are. A fitness coach with 1 million followers, six-pack abs, and a bio that says, "I change lives." They're selling a 12-week transformation plan for $99. A few swipes later you find another one. This one's a certified nutritionist posting pictures of their clients' incredible before and after photos. It all seems so promising, so easy, but you have this nagging feeling in the back of your mind. Is this for real? Can they actually help me? The truth is, the online fitness industry has become the Wild West. There are no sheriffs, no federal regulations, and literally anyone with a smartphone and a decent physique can call themselves a coach. They can sell you a generic cookie-cutter PDF that they've sold to 1,000 other people. A plan that doesn't account for your injury history, your lifestyle, your unique goals, or your relationship with food. At best, you waste your money and your time, ending up right back where you started. But at worst, you get injured, develop a disordered view of eating and exercise, and end up feeling more defeated and further from your goals than ever before. This ends today. This presentation is your bulletproof vest for navigating the Wild West of online fitness. I'm going to give you a precise step-by-step system to cut through the noise, sidestep the scams, and connect with a genuinely qualified, reputable, and effective online personal trainer right here in the United States. By the time we're done, you won't just hope you're hiring the right person, you will know. You will have a checklist, a blueprint. You'll be able to spot a fraud from a mile away and identify a true professional who can actually help you build lasting, sustainable results that fit your life. We're going to build your defense system around 3 critical pillars. First, we're tackling the credentials that actually matter. Second, we'll build the red flag gauntlet, a checklist of warning signs to watch for. And third, we'll master the vetting process, with the exact questions to ask to expose a coach's true expertise. So let's start with the absolute foundation, the single most important factor that separates the professionals from the pretenders: certifications. The word certified is thrown around so much it's almost lost its meaning. You can get certified in just about anything online in a weekend. But in the US fitness industry, there is a gold standard. And if you learn nothing else from this video, learn this. The certification a trainer holds must be accredited by the National Commission for Certifying Agencies, or the NCCA. The NCCA is an independent, third-party organization that evaluates certification programs to ensure they meet stringent standards of practice and safety. They don't create the certifications, they accredit them. Think of it like a university. You could get a degree from an accredited university that is recognized nationwide, or you could get a piece of paper from a non-accredited diploma mill. Which one holds more weight? It's the same thing here. An NCCA-accredited certification means the trainer didn't just pay a fee and watch a few videos. It means they had to study a comprehensive curriculum based on scientific principles and then pass a difficult, proctored exam in a secure testing facility. They had to prove they possess a fundamental knowledge of human anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, and safety protocols. So, your first question for any potential online coach before you even talk about price is, what is your personal training certification, and is it NCCA accredited? If they get defensive, if they don't know what the NCCA is, or if they say no, that is a colossal red flag. It's not a deal breaker. It's a deal ender. Walk away. Now, which certification should you be looking for? In the United States, there are 4 major, highly respected, NCCA accredited organizations that are often considered the top tier. Let's call them the Big 4. First, you have NASM, the National Academy of Sports Medicine. The NASM CPT, or Certified Personal Trainer, is one of the most popular certifications in the country. NASM is well known for its OPT model, which stands for Optimum Performance Training. It's a systematic approach that focuses heavily on corrective exercise. This means they are taught to identify and correct common muscle imbalances and movement dysfunctions before piling on heavy weight. A NASM certified trainer is often a great choice if you're new to exercise, have a history of minor aches and pains, or feel like your posture and movement patterns could use some work. Second is ACE, the American Council on Exercise. The ACE CPT is another incredibly well-respected certification, where NASM has a strong focus on the physical and corrective side. ACE places a huge emphasis on the science of behavior change. Their curriculum is built around empowering coaches to be, well, coaches. They learn how to help clients build intrinsic motivation, set realistic goals, and overcome the psychological barriers to creating long-term healthy habits. If you've struggled with consistency and staying motivated in the past, a coach with an ACE certification might be an excellent fit. Third on our list is the ACSM, the American College of Sports Medicine. This is often considered the most clinical and research-based of the Big Four. The ACSM CPT is rooted in decades of exercise science research. Their standards are exceptionally high, and their certification is often a prerequisite for trainers who want to work in more clinical settings, like physical therapy offices or cardiac rehab centers. If a trainer holds an ACSM certification, it indicates a very strong grasp of the science behind exercise programming, especially for clients with various health considerations. And finally, we have the NSCA, the National Strength and Conditioning Association. While they offer a CPT, the NSCA is most famous for its flagship certification, the CSCS, which stands for Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. This is the gold standard for anyone who trains athletes. To even sit for the CSCS exam, you need a bachelor's degree, which sets it apart. While it's geared towards athletic performance, an online coach with a CSCS certification demonstrates a very deep understanding of program design, periodization, and the mechanics of strength and power. If your goals are heavily performance-based, like getting stronger for a sport or competing in powerlifting, a CSCS is a fantastic credential to see. So NASM, ACSM, and NSA, these are your green lights. Seeing one of these on a trainer's resume is your first sign that you're dealing with a professional who has invested in a legitimate, science-backed education. Now let's talk about the other side of this coin. What about specialty certifications? Things like Certified Glute Specialist or Kettlebell Level 2. These can be great. They show a trainer is passionate and has pursued further education in a specific area. But they should be in addition to, not instead of, a foundational NCCA-accredited CPT. Think of the CPT as their college degree and the specialty cert as an elective they took. You need the degree first. The most critical area where this comes up is nutrition. You will see countless online trainers calling themselves a certified nutritionist or a nutrition coach. This is a minefield. In the United States, the laws around giving nutrition advice are strict and vary by state. The only professional legally and ethically qualified to provide specific meal plans and medical nutrition therapy for conditions like POS or diabetes is a registered dietitian, or RD. An RD has a 4-year degree in nutrition, completed a supervised internship, and passed a national board exam. A trainer with a nutrition certification from NASM or another reputable body can provide general nutrition guidance. They can help you with portion control, understanding macronutrients, and building healthy eating habits. But they cannot and should not be writing you a detailed prescriptive meal plan. If a trainer who is not an RD tries to sell you a custom meal plan, they are operating outside their scope of practice. It's not just unprofessional. In many states, it's illegal. This is a massive red flag that shows a disregard for professional and ethical boundaries. So, to recap the first pillar of our system, your non-negotiable starting point is an NCCA-accredited Certified Personal Trainer certification. Look for one of the Big Four NASM, ACSM, or NSCA. View specialty certs as a bonus, not a substitute, and be extremely wary of anyone who is not a registered dietitian, but is trying to sell you a specific, customized meal plan. Mastering this first step alone will eliminate over 90% of the unqualified charlatans in the online space. You are no longer just scrolling and hoping. You are now armed with the first and most powerful filter to begin your search. You have a baseline for professionalism, and you know exactly what to look for to ensure your potential coach has the fundamental knowledge to guide you safely and effectively. But a foundational certification is just that, a foundation. Think of it like building a house. You wouldn't hire the person who poured the concrete foundation to also handle the intricate electrical wiring, the complex plumbing, or the custom cabinetry. You'd hire specialists for those jobs. The same exact principle applies to finding a truly effective online personal trainer. The world of fitness is vast, and a general certification is a license to practice, not a mastery of all disciplines. This is where so many people make their second critical mistake. They hire a generalist for a specialist job, and the consequences can range from frustratingly slow progress to, in some cases, actual injury. A trainer who primarily works with young athletes building explosive power, might not understand the nuanced approach required for a 65-year-old client looking to improve bone density and balance. A coach who excels at helping bodybuilders get stage ready might apply principles that are completely counterproductive for a new mother trying to heal her core and regain strength postpartum. The one-size-fits-all program, even from a certified trainer, often fits no one perfectly. It's a generic blueprint for a generic person, and you are not generic. Your history, your goals, your body, your lifestyle, they are all unique to you. This brings us to the second, and arguably more important, filter in your search: specialization. You aren't just looking for a trainer. You're looking for your trainer. A specialist is a coach who has gone beyond the foundational knowledge and has dedicated significant time, education, and practical experience to a specific niche. They've chosen a lane and they live in it. They understand the unique challenges, the common pitfalls, and the most effective strategies for a very specific type of person with a very specific type of goal. When you work with a specialist, you are not their guinea pig. They aren't experimenting on you. The problem you're facing? They've likely seen it 100 times before. The plateau you're about to hit? They know how to anticipate it and steer you around it. This is the fast track. It's the difference between wandering through a forest with a compass and following a seasoned guide who knows the trail by heart. So, how do you identify a true specialist from someone who just lists a bunch of keywords on their website? It's a process of digital investigation, and here are the exact things you need to look for. First, look for advanced or secondary certifications. The foundational cert we discussed in the last part is the entry ticket. The specialist certifications are the VIP pass. For example, if your goal is to get stronger for a sport and improve your athletic performance, you should be looking for a CSCS, which stands for Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. This is a highly respected credential that goes far deeper into program design for athletes. If you have a history of nagging injuries, back pain, or poor posture, a trainer with a CES Corrective Exercise Specialist or FMS, Functional Movement Screen certification has the specific tools to assess and address movement dysfunctions. For nutrition, which is a massive component of any fitness journey, a certification from an institution like Precision Nutrition, PN, or the National Academy of Sports Medicine's Certified Nutrition Coach, NASM CNC, indicates a deeper level of education on behavioral change and nutritional science. There are certifications for pre- and postnatal fitness, for senior fitness, for kettlebell instruction, for Olympic weightlifting. A true specialist invests in the specific education required for their craft. Don't be afraid to ask them directly. Beyond your main personal training certification, what other education have you pursued that makes you an expert in helping people like me? Second, become a student of their content. This is your single greatest clue. An online coach's social media, blog, podcast, or YouTube channel is their public resume. A generalist's content will be all over the map. One day it's a high-intensity workout, the next it's a yoga flow, the day after that it's a recipe for brownies. It's scattered because their focus is scattered. A specialist's content, on the other hand, is a masterclass in their niche. It is relentless in its focus. If a coach claims to specialize in helping busy dads over 40, their entire feed should be a reflection of that. You should see content about workouts you can do in under 30 minutes, tips for navigating business dinners, strategies for improving energy and focus, and success stories from other dads over 40. They speak a specific language to a specific person. If you can't immediately tell who their ideal client is within 30 seconds of landing on their Instagram or website, they are likely a generalist. Move on. Third, scrutinize their testimonials and social proof. This is non-negotiable. A coach can say they specialize in anything, but their results tell the real story. Look at the before and after pictures. Read the written testimonials. Watch the video interviews with past clients. And ask yourself one simple question. Do these people look like me? Do they have the same problems I have? Did they achieve the result I want? If you are a woman in her 50s going through menopause and looking to build muscle, but every single testimonial on a trainer's website is from a 22-year-old college student, that is a massive disconnect. It doesn't mean the coach is bad. It means they are not the specialist for you. The proof must match the promise. You want to see a long track record of success with people who are in the exact same chapter of life as you are. This shows they have a repeatable system, not just a few lucky success stories. Let me tell you about a client I once consulted with. We'll call her Jessica. Jessica was about a year postpartum with her second child. She was motivated to get back in shape but was struggling with a persistent mommy pooch and some lower back pain. She hired a local online trainer who had great reviews. He was certified and seemed knowledgeable. He immediately put her on a program filled with crunches, sit-ups, and planks to strengthen her core. Weeks went by, and not only was her stomach not getting any flatter, but her back pain was getting worse. She felt defeated. It turns out, Jessica had diastasis recti, a very common separation of the abdominal muscles after pregnancy. The traditional core exercises her generalist trainer prescribed were actually putting more pressure on that connective tissue, making the separation worse. She finally found a new online coach, one who was a certified pre- and postnatal corrective exercise specialist. This new coach immediately recognized the issue. She scrapped all the crunches and instead gave Jessica a specific series of deep core breathing and activation drills. Within a few weeks, Jessica's back pain had subsided, and for the first time in over a year, she could see her abdominal gap starting to close. She wasn't working harder. She was working smarter, under the guidance of a specialist who understood her specific physiological state. The first trainer wasn't malicious, he was just ignorant of her specific condition. He was a generalist trying to do a specialist job. That story is the perfect illustration of why this step is so profoundly important. Finding a specialist isn't about being picky. It's about being smart. It's about protecting yourself from wasted time, frustration, and potential injury. It's about finding a guide who has already navigated the terrain you're about to enter. So, as you continue your search, apply this new filter. Take your initial list of certified trainers and now ask the specialist question. Who among them focuses day in and day out on helping someone just like you? Look for the advanced certifications. Analyze their content for a laser-like focus, and demand to see social proof that mirrors your own identity and aspirations. By doing this, you'll likely shrink your list of potential candidates dramatically. And that's a good thing. You're moving from a wide, confusing ocean of options to a small, clear pond of highly qualified experts. You've now filtered for both foundational knowledge and specialized expertise. You have a short list of people who are, on paper, a perfect fit. But a great resume doesn't always translate to a great relationship. How do you know if their coaching style, their communication, and their personality will actually click with yours? How do you peek behind the curtain before you ever spend a dime? The answer lies in becoming a digital detective. Your first mission, should you choose to accept it, is to analyze their public footprint. Before you even think about booking a call, you need to dive deep into their free content. This is your primary intelligence gathering phase. Go to their Instagram, their TikTok, their YouTube channel, their blog, their podcast, wherever they exist online. And you're not just scrolling. You are looking for patterns. You're looking for a philosophy. First, what is their core message? Are they constantly screaming about no excuses, crushing it 24/7, and showing off extreme, unsustainable workouts? If you're a high-performance athlete who thrives on that intensity, maybe that's your match. But for most of us, that's a recipe for burnout. Look for a trainer whose message resonates with real life. Do they talk about balance? Do they acknowledge that sometimes life gets in the way? Do they promote consistency over perfection? A trainer who shows you how to navigate a busy week, a vacation, or a day when you're just not feeling it, is a trainer who understands the marathon, not just the sprint. Pay close attention to the language they use. Is it inclusive and encouraging, or is it shame-based and exclusive? A huge red flag is any language that moralizes food, labeling things as good, bad, clean, or cheat meals. This can foster an unhealthy relationship with nutrition. A great coach educates you on macronutrients, energy balance, and helps you build a sustainable eating pattern that includes foods you actually enjoy. They empower you with knowledge, they don't restrict you with rules. Next, look at how they demonstrate exercises. Are their instructions crystal clear? Do they offer modifications for different fitness levels, or for people with common limitations? A trainer who only shows the most advanced, high-impact version of every exercise might not have the experience or the patience to work with a beginner or someone nursing an old injury. The best online coaches are masters of communication, able to explain complex movements simply and safely through a screen. And finally, look for authenticity. Does their feed look like a real person's life, or a stock photo library? Look for behind-the-scenes content. Do they share their own struggles? Do they post their own imperfect workouts? A coach who is willing to be vulnerable and human is often more relatable and trustworthy. See how they interact with their audience. Do they respond to comments and questions thoughtfully? Or is it all just emojis and one-word replies? This little window into their community management can tell you a lot about how they'll treat you as a paying client. After you've done your recon and you've found a few candidates who passed the public content test, it's time for the most critical step of all, the consultation call. Do not think of this as a sales call. Reframe it in your mind. This is not them selling you. This is you interviewing them for a very important job. You are the hiring manager, and your health and well-being is the company. You need to show up prepared to lead the conversation. Have a pen and paper or a document open on your computer. You are going to ask some very specific, very important questions. Let's break down what those questions should be. You can group them into a few categories. First, questions about their experience and philosophy. Don't just ask, "How long have you been a trainer?" That's a surface-level question. Instead, ask this: "Can you tell me about your experience working with clients who have goals similar to mine?" Be specific with your goal. If you want to build muscle after 40, run your first 5K, or regain strength postpartum, say that. Their answer will reveal if they have a proven process for your specific situation, or if you would be their guinea pig. Follow up with, "Could you share a case study or an example of how you help someone in a similar position?" They should be able to walk you through their process with a past client, respecting their privacy, of course, explaining the challenges, the strategies, and the outcomes. Next, ask about their coaching philosophy. A great question is, how do you help clients stay motivated when life gets tough or they hit a plateau? A canned answer is, "I just motivate them." A thoughtful answer will involve a discussion about adjusting the plan, managing expectations, focusing on non-scale victories, and working together to uncover the root cause of the slump. This shows they are a problem solver, not just a cheerleader. The second category of questions is about logistics and communication, the nuts and bolts of how this relationship will actually work. Ask, "What platform do you use to deliver workouts, and can I see a sample?" Some use slick, professional apps with video demonstrations. Others use detailed spreadsheets or PDFs. There's no one right answer, but you need to see if their system works for you. Is it intuitive? Is it easy to access on your phone at the gym? Then, the most important logistical question of all. What does communication and support look like on a weekly basis? Get specific. How often do we have scheduled check-ins? Are they via email, a form, or a video call? What is your policy on questions outside of our scheduled check-ins? If I have a question about a specific exercise or my nutrition for the day, what's the best way to contact you? And what is your typical response time? A trainer who says unlimited 24/7 access might be overpromising. A professional will have clear boundaries and a structured system. An answer like, "We have a detailed weekly check-in every Friday, and for urgent questions you can message me through the app, and I'll respond within 12 hours on weekdays," is a fantastic, realistic answer. It sets clear expectations for both of you. The third category is about personalization and progress. You need to know this isn't a cookie-cutter program they just copy and paste to all their clients. Ask, "How will you tailor this program specifically to my lifestyle, my available equipment, and my food preferences?" Their answer should involve a detailed intake process where they ask you about your schedule, what equipment you have access to, and what foods you love and hate. If their answer is vague, it's a red flag. Then ask, "How do we measure progress?" If their only answer is the number on the scale, run. A holistic coach will talk about multiple metrics: body measurements, progress photos for body composition changes, performance in the gym, like lifting heavier weights or doing more reps, and subjective measures like your energy levels, sleep quality, and overall mood. This shows they understand that health is about so much more than just weight. As you ask these questions, pay very close attention not just to what they say but how they say it. This is the vibe check. Are they actively listening to you? Or are they just waiting for their turn to talk? A great coach will make you feel like you're the only person in the world during that call. They'll ask you thoughtful follow-up questions. They'll repeat your goals back to you to ensure they understand. If you feel rushed, interrupted, or dismissed, that's your gut telling you this is not the right fit. Do they speak in absolutes? Be wary of anyone who says, "You must cut out carbs," or "This is the only workout that works." A knowledgeable coach understands nuance and bio-individuality. They use phrases like, "What tends to work well for many people is," or "We can start with this approach and adjust based on how your body responds." This demonstrates flexibility and a client-centered approach. Finally, how do you feel talking to them? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like you could tell this person you binged on a pizza last night without being judged? This relationship requires vulnerability. You need to feel safe and supported. If your intuition is screaming no, listen to it, no matter how great their credentials are. Trusting your gut is not unscientific. It's a powerful data point in this entire process. Finding the right coach is less about finding the best coach in the world and more about finding the best coach for you. So, where do you actually begin the search? It's a huge digital world out there and trainers are everywhere. Let's break down the primary hunting grounds, starting with the most obvious one: social media. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube are flooded with fitness professionals. This is both a blessing and a curse. The upside is visibility. You can get a real sense of a coach's personality, their communication style, and their core fitness philosophy just by scrolling through their feed. Do they post informative, science-backed content? Or is it mostly workout selfies and motivational quotes? The content they create is a direct reflection of the value they provide. A great coach uses their platform to educate and empower their audience, not just to show off. The major downside of social media, however, is the noise. It's the Wild West. Anyone can call themselves a coach, use clever camera angles, and build a massive following without having any real qualifications. Follower count is not a credential, it's a marketing metric. Don't be blinded by a blue checkmark or a million followers. Instead, use social media as a starting point, a place to discover potential candidates before you dig deeper. A more structured approach is to look at online trainer marketplaces. These are websites specifically designed to connect clients with vetted personal trainers. Think of them like a Zillow for fitness professionals. Platforms like these often require trainers to submit their certifications for verification, which adds a layer of safety for you. They also typically feature client reviews and ratings, which can be incredibly helpful. You can filter by specialty, price point, and training style. The potential drawback here is that it can feel a bit less personal. You're finding them through a third-party service, and sometimes the platform takes a cut, which can affect the trainer's pricing. However, for someone who feels overwhelmed by the chaos of social media, these marketplaces can provide a fantastic, pre-screened list of qualified candidates. But here's a pro tip, a method that many people overlook: go directly to the source. The major, accredited certifying bodies, organizations like the National Academy of Sports Medicine (NASM), the American Council on Exercise (ACE), or the American College of Sports Medicine (ACSM), all have online directories of the professionals they've certified. You can literally go to their websites and search for certified trainers in your area, or those who specialize in online coaching. This is one of the most reliable ways to ensure a coach has, at the very least, met a foundational standard of knowledge and professionalism. You're pulling from a pool of people who have already passed the first major hurdle. Once you've identified a few potential coaches from these sources, the real work begins. This is the vetting process, and it's where you separate the contenders from the pretenders. Your first step is a deep dive into their online presence. Go beyond their highlight reel. Scour their posts, their stories, their comments sections. What is the tone of their communication? When people ask questions, do they respond with thoughtful, helpful answers, or do they give generic replies or, worse, get defensive? Look closely at their client transformation photos. Do they look realistic and sustainable? Or do they scream 12-week crash diet? Be wary of coaches who only show the most extreme, shredded after photos. True health and fitness is a long-term journey, not a dramatic sprint. Look for testimonials that talk about changes in energy, strength, confidence, and health markers, not just weight loss. A coach who celebrates a client hitting a new deadlift personal record, or finally being able to run a mile without stopping, is often more focused on holistic well-being than one who only posts about pounds lost. This brings us to the next critical step: analyzing their testimonials and social proof. Don't just take a screenshot on a website at face value. Those can be easily fabricated. Look for reviews on third-party platforms that the coach can't control, like a Google Business Profile or Trustpilot. Video testimonials are also more powerful than written ones because you can see and hear the person's genuine emotion. But even with legitimate testimonials, you need to read between the lines. A good testimonial is specific. "John is a great coach" is useless. Working with John, I learned how to properly brace my core for squats, which eliminated the lower back pain I'd been dealing with for years. He helped me increase my bench press by 30 pounds in 4 months by adjusting my form and programming. Now that is a valuable piece of information. It tells you how the coach helped and what specific outcomes were achieved. Look for patterns in the reviews. Do multiple clients mention the coach's great communication, their attention to detail, or their ability to motivate without shame? Consistent, specific praise is a very strong signal. After your online reconnaissance, you should have your list narrowed down to 2 or 3 top candidates. Now we arrive at the single most important step in this entire process: the consultation or discovery call. This is not a sales pitch. You must reframe this in your mind. This is a two-way interview. You are interviewing them for a critical role in your life, and they should be interviewing you to see if you're a good fit for their coaching style. A good coach won't accept just anyone with a credit card. They want clients who are committed and whose goals align with their expertise. You need to go into this call prepared with a list of non-negotiable questions. Let's arm you with some of the best ones. First, what is your overall coaching philosophy? This open-ended question forces them to articulate their core beliefs about fitness, nutrition, and behavior change. Are they about no excuses, grind hard? Or are they about building sustainable habits and listening to your body? Their answer will tell you everything about the kind of experience you'll have. Second, how do you personalize programs for your clients? Can you walk me through that process? You're looking for a detailed answer here. You want to hear about intake forms, movement assessments, and in-depth discussions about your lifestyle, schedule, and preferences. The red flag is a vague answer like, "Oh, I customize everything." The green flag is, first, we'll do a comprehensive 90-minute onboarding call to discuss your health history. Then I'll have you submit videos of a few key movements so I can analyze your form. Based on that and your goals, I'll build your first 4-week training block from scratch. One is a sales line, the other is a professional process. Third, what does communication and support look like on a weekly basis? This sets clear expectations. How often can you contact them? What's the expected response time? Do they use an app, email, text? Do you have scheduled weekly check-in calls? Or is it just messaging? There's no single right answer, but their answer needs to match the level of support you need. Fourth, and this is a big one, how do you measure a client's progress beyond the scale? A world-class coach understands that progress is multifaceted. They should immediately talk about tracking strength gains, taking body measurements, assessing energy levels, sleep quality, mood, how your clothes fit, and taking progress photos. If their only metric for success is the number on the scale, they have a very narrow and potentially unhealthy view of fitness. Finally, ask this killer question. Can you tell me about a time a client was struggling or not seeing results and how you handled it? This question tests their honesty, humility, and problem-solving skills. A great coach will readily admit that things don't always go perfectly. They'll talk about how they collaborated with the client to troubleshoot the issue, whether it was adjusting the program, digging into sleep or stress, or simply providing moral support. A coach who claims all their clients get amazing results all the time is either lying or inexperienced. As you listen to their answers, you also need to be watching for red flags. High-pressure sales tactics are the biggest one. If you hear things like, "This special price is only available if you sign today," or "I only have one spot left," run. A confident, professional coach doesn't need to resort to scarcity gimmicks. They want you to make a considered, enthusiastic decision. Another red flag is a coach who does all the talking. The call should be at least 50% about you. If they aren't asking you deep questions about your goals, your struggles, your medical history, and your lifestyle, how can they possibly help you? They can't. They're just trying to sell you a pre-made template. Be wary of any promises or language that sounds like a guarantee. And finally, if they ever dismiss your past experiences, make you feel ashamed, or use guilt as a motivator, end the call. That is not a coach, that is a bully. This vetting process might seem intensive, but you are about to make a significant investment of your time, your money, and your trust. Doing your due diligence isn't just smart, it's an act of self-respect. So you've filtered out the noise, dodged the red flags, and you're left with a small, promising list of potential coaches. Now we enter the most critical phase of the hiring process, the consultation call. This isn't just a sales pitch. This is your job interview. You are the hiring manager for the most important company in the world, You Incorporated, and this candidate is applying for the role of Chief Health Officer. Treat it with that level of seriousness. Before you even get on that call, I want you to do some homework. Sit down with a pen and paper, or open a new document and answer 3 questions. 1. What are my absolute, non-negotiable goals? Be specific. It's not, "I want to lose weight." It's, "I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months, so I can have more energy to play with my kids and feel confident at my friend's wedding." 2. What have been my biggest obstacles in the past? Was it lack of time? Lack of motivation? Confusion about what to eat? Injury? Be brutally honest with yourself. 3. What does my ideal coaching relationship look like? Do I need a drill sergeant, a cheerleader, a technical wizard, or a supportive teacher? Understanding this about yourself is half the battle. Once you have this clarity, you're ready for the call. And your job on this call is to listen more than you talk, and to ask a few very strategic questions. Don't just ask, "So what's your program like?" That's a softball question that lets them launch into a pre-rehearsed sales script. Instead, get specific. Start with this. Based on the goals I've shared, can you walk me through your exact process for a new client in my position, from day 1 to day 90? Listen carefully. Are they describing a clear, structured system? Or are they giving you vague platitudes like, "We'll just work hard and get you results"? A real professional has a process. They have an onboarding procedure, an assessment phase, a method for program delivery, and a system for tracking progress. If they can't articulate it clearly, it likely doesn't exist. Next, you need to test their coaching skills, not just their programming knowledge. Ask this: what is your strategy for when a client hits a plateau, loses motivation, or isn't seeing the results they hoped for? This question is a stress test. A template seller will stumble. They'll say something generic like, "We'll switch up the exercises." A true coach will light up. They'll talk about digging into the data, looking at sleep, stress, and nutrition. They'll talk about hopping on a call to understand the psychological barriers. They'll talk about adjusting the plan based on biofeedback, not just the calendar. Their answer reveals whether they are a programmer or a problem solver. You are paying for a problem solver. Then you must clarify expectations around communication. This is where so many online coaching relationships fall apart. Ask directly, what is your communication policy? What is the expected response time for questions? How often will we have formal check-ins? And what platform do you use for communication? A professional will have a clear policy. For example, we do a detailed check-in via the app every Friday. For general questions during the week, I guarantee a response within 24 hours via the app's messenger, though it's usually much faster. A red flag is a vague answer like, "Oh, just message me whenever." That sounds great, but it's a recipe for disaster. It means there's no structure, and your messages will likely get lost in a sea of other clients. You need to find reliable touchpoints. Finally, ask for a story. Not a testimonial, a story. Say this: could you share a case study of a client who had similar goals or challenges to mine? I'm not asking for their name, but I'd love to hear about the journey. What were their specific struggles, and how did you, as their coach, help them navigate those challenges? This is the ultimate test. A great coach is a great storyteller because they are deeply invested in their clients' journeys. They'll be able to tell you about Sarah, the busy mom who struggled with late-night snacking, and how they worked together to create a new evening routine that didn't involve the pantry. They'll tell you about Mike, the desk worker with chronic back pain, and how they started with basic core work and progressively built him up to deadlifting pain-free. If they can't readily share a story like that, it suggests they either lack the experience or they don't build the kind of deep, transformative relationships you're looking for. Now, while you're asking these questions, you need to be paying attention to the credentials that back them up. Anyone can call themselves a coach, but not everyone has put in the work to become a certified professional. It's like the alphabet soup of fitness, but understanding it is crucial. The absolute bare minimum you should accept is a certified personal trainer, or CPT, from an NCCA-accredited organization. The NCCA is the gold standard accrediting body. The big names you want to see are NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine, ACE, American Council on Exercise, ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, and the NSCA, National Strength and Conditioning Association. If their certification is from Expert Rating Global Fitness College, or some other name you've never heard of, a quick Google search for Cert Name NCCA will tell you if it's legitimate. If it's not NCCA accredited, it's a major red flag. It often means it was a cheap, online, open book test that holds very little weight in the industry. But a CPT is just the entry ticket. What you really want to see is a commitment to continued education. Look for advanced certifications. If your goal is strength and performance, a CSCS, Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist, from the NSCA is the gold standard. It's a significantly harder exam to pass than a CPT, and indicates a much deeper understanding of exercise science. If you have specific nutritional goals, look for nutrition-specific certifications. A PN1 or PN2 from Precision Nutrition is one of the most respected in the industry. Others might have certifications in corrective exercise, pre- and postnatal fitness, or specific training modalities. The specific certs matter less than the presence of them. It shows this isn't just a side hustle for them. It's a profession they are actively investing in. They are a student of their craft. That's who you want in your corner. Okay, so the coach passed the vibe check, nailed the consultation call, and has legitimate credentials. Now we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the price. The cost of online personal training in the US can range from $50 a month to over $1,000. And what you get for that money varies just as wildly. It's critical you understand what you are actually paying for. Generally, online coaching falls into 3 categories. The first and cheapest is what I call the PDF plan. This is where you pay a low monthly fee, maybe $50 to $100, and you get a workout program. It might be a generic template, or it might be slightly customized based on a questionnaire you fill out. But that's it. You get the map, but there's no GPS, no one to call for directions when you hit a detour. There is little to no support, no form checks, and no adjustments. For a highly motivated, experienced lifter who just needs some new ideas, this might be fine. For 95% of people looking for a coach, this is a path to frustration. The second and most common is the hybrid model. This typically runs from $150 to $400 a month. Here you get a fully customized program built for you. You'll have a dedicated app to track your workouts, and you'll have a structured check-in process, usually weekly. This is where you submit your progress, ask questions, and get feedback. The value of this model depends entirely on the quality of that feedback. A great coach will send you detailed video or audio messages analyzing your form, celebrating your wins, and strategizing for the week ahead. A lazy coach will send a "great job, keep it up" text. This is what you were digging for during the consultation call. This model provides the accountability and personalization most people need to succeed. The third is the high-touch or VIP model. This can be anywhere from $400 to over $1,000 a month. This is for the person who wants the highest level of support. It includes everything in the hybrid model but adds things like daily communication access, video call check-ins, real-time video feedback on your lifts, and often much deeper nutritional and lifestyle coaching. This is for the executive with a demanding schedule, the athlete training for a competition, or the person who knows they need constant accountability to stay on track. The key is to not just look at the price, but to ask, what level of access and individualization am I getting for this investment? A $300 per month coach who provides detailed, thoughtful weekly feedback and saves you years of spinning your wheels is an incredible value. A $75 per month coach who sends you a PDF and disappears is a waste of money. Don't be penny-wise and pound-foolish with your health. The price should reflect the level of personalized attention. If you see a coach advertising unlimited coaching for a rock-bottom price, run. It's a volume game. They need hundreds of clients to make that business model work, and it is mathematically impossible for them to provide any meaningful individual support. You will be nothing more than a number on a spreadsheet. You're not just buying workouts. You are buying a professional's time, their expertise, their experience, and their focused attention. You are making an investment in a guided process that has the potential to change your life. Choose the level of investment that aligns with the level of support you truly need. Now that we've framed the price as an investment, let's talk about what you're actually investing in. What separates a highly skilled professional from a fitness enthusiast with a good camera and a popular social media account? The answer, in large part, comes down to credentials. And this right here is the single most important filter you can use to protect your health, your wallet, and your time. Let's cut through the noise. In the United States, the fitness industry is surprisingly unregulated. There's no official government body that says who can and cannot call themselves a personal trainer. This means literally anyone can print up a business card, start an Instagram page, and start charging people for workout plans. It's the Wild West. And that's why understanding the credentialing landscape isn't just a good idea. It's your primary line of defense. The gold standard, the benchmark you should look for, are certifications accredited by the National Commission for Certifying Agencies, or NCCA. Think of the NCCA as the certifier of certifiers. They don't create the fitness exams, but they rigorously audit the organizations that do, ensuring their testing methods are fair, valid, and legally defensible. This is a huge deal. It means an NCCA-accredited certification isn't just a piece of paper someone got for completing an online quiz over a weekend. It means they had to pass a proctored, comprehensive exam that covers critical topics like human anatomy, exercise physiology, biomechanics, and client safety protocols. So, what are these gold standard certifications? You'll want to commit these acronyms to memory. The Big Four, the most respected and recognized in the US, are NASM, the National Academy of Sports Medicine; ACE, the American Council on Exercise; ACSM, the American College of Sports Medicine; and the NSCA, the National Strength and Conditioning Association. If a potential online trainer lists one of these as their primary certification, that is a massive green flag. It tells you they've invested significant time and money to build a foundational, science-based understanding of the human body. They know the difference between the quadriceps and the hamstrings, sure, but more importantly, they understand how those muscles function in complex movement patterns. They know how to assess for muscular imbalances that could lead to injury. They understand the energy systems of the body and how to design a program that progressively overloads those systems in a safe and effective way to produce results, whether your goal is fat loss, muscle gain, or running a faster mile. Now let's talk about the red flags. If you see a certification you've never heard of, a quick Google search is your best friend. Look for the NCCA accreditation. If you can't find it, proceed with extreme caution. There are countless organizations out there offering personal trainer certifications that are little more than glorified PDF documents. They require no in-depth study, no proctored exam, and provide none of the scientific rigor of the major certifiers. Hiring a trainer with one of these is like hiring an accountant who learned about taxes by reading a blog post. The risk of getting bad, ineffective, or even dangerous advice is significantly higher. Let me paint a picture for you. I once knew a woman, let's call her Jessica. She was in her late 40s, wanted to lose about 20 pounds, and get stronger to keep up with her kids. She found a trainer on Instagram who had a huge following and looked amazing. He was charismatic, posted incredible transformation photos, and his price was very reasonable. She signed up. His certification was from an online-only entity she hadn't heard of, but she figured he must know what he was doing. The first program he sent her was filled with high-impact plyometrics, box jumps, burpees, jumping lunges. For a deconditioned 48-year-old with a history of knee sensitivity, this was a recipe for disaster. Within 3 weeks, Jessica had a debilitating case of patellar tendinitis. She was in pain, couldn't work out at all, and was more discouraged than when she started. Her trainer didn't know how to properly assess a new client's fitness level or injury history, and he defaulted to a cookie-cutter, high-intensity program because that's what looks good on social media. Now contrast that with another person, let's call him David. David, a 55-year-old office worker with chronic lower back pain, wanted to get in shape. He did his homework. He found a trainer who was certified through NASM but also had a secondary, specialty certification as a corrective exercise specialist, or CES. This trainer started David not with intense workouts, but with a detailed movement assessment. He identified that David's back pain was likely linked to weak glutes and tight hip flexors from sitting all day. The first month of his program didn't involve a single burpee. Instead, it was focused on targeted activation and stretching exercises. It was slow. It wasn't flashy. But within 6 weeks, David's back pain had virtually disappeared for the first time in a decade. Only then did his trainer begin to slowly and safely introduce more traditional strength training. That's the difference a real credential makes. It's the difference between a cheerleader and a professional. It's the difference between guessing and assessing. This brings us to the next level of vetting: specializations. The basic certified personal trainer (CPT) is the foundation, but the best online coaches often don't stop there. They build on that foundation with advanced specializations that allow them to expertly serve specific populations. The world of fitness is vast, and a great coach for a 22-year-old aspiring bodybuilder is probably not the best coach for a 65-year-old woman looking to improve bone density. So, when you're looking at a trainer's website or bio, look beyond the CPT. Do they have other letters after their name? For example, if you're an athlete looking to improve your performance, you might look for an NSCA-CSCS, which stands for Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. This is widely considered one of the most difficult and prestigious certifications, focused specifically on athletic performance. If you struggle with emotional eating or making healthy food choices, a trainer with a Precision Nutrition (PN) certification or an ACE Health Coach certification will have advanced training in behavioral change psychology, which can be invaluable. Other crucial specializations include pre- and postnatal for new or expecting mothers, senior fitness specialist for older adults, and as we saw with David, corrective exercise specialist (CS). for those with chronic pain or movement dysfunctions. When a trainer invests in these advanced certs, it shows a commitment to continuing education and a passion for a specific niche. It means they're not a jack of all trades, but a master of one. And when your specific need is their mastery, the potential for a successful outcome skyrockets. Finally, there's the question of a formal college degree. Is it necessary for a trainer to have a bachelor's or even a master's degree in a field like kinesiology, exercise science, or human physiology? The short answer is no, it's not strictly necessary. There are phenomenal coaches with decades of experience who only have a CPT. However, a relevant degree is an enormous green flag. It indicates a depth of knowledge that simply can't be achieved in a certification course alone. A 4-year degree program provides a deep, cellular-level understanding of how the human body works. Someone with this background can often better navigate complex client situations, like training someone with diabetes, heart disease, or multiple injuries. It signals a higher level of professional dedication. Think of it as another powerful layer of evidence in your investigation. So how do you confirm all of this? You become a detective. Do not just take their word for it. It is shockingly easy for someone to lie about their credentials online. The good news is, it's also shockingly easy for you to verify them. Every single one of the major certifying bodies, NASM, ACE, ACSM, and SCA, has an online directory or a verification tool. You can go directly to their website, type in the trainer's name, and see if they are listed as an active, certified professional. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it is the single most powerful step you can take to ensure you're not getting scammed. If a trainer claims to be certified but you can't find them in the official directory, run the other way. There is no good excuse for this discrepancy. Either they are being dishonest or they let their certification lapse, which means they are not keeping up with the required continuing education credits to stay current on the latest science. Either way, it's a deal breaker. So your action item from this section is clear. Credential check every single potential coach. Look for that NCC accredited certification as your baseline. Consider any relevant specializations or college degrees as major bonus points that show a deeper commitment to their craft. And most importantly, take 2 minutes to go to the source and verify that their credentials are real and current. This homework up front can save you from months of frustration, wasted money, and potential injury. It's the unskippable step in finding a true professional who is qualified to handle your most valuable asset, your health. So you've done the background check. You've confirmed the certifications are legit, the degree is from a real university, and the person you're considering is, on paper, qualified to guide you. But a paper qualification is just the entry ticket to the game. It doesn't tell you if they can actually play. It doesn't tell you if they've helped people just like you with similar struggles, similar schedules, and similar goals. For that, we need to move from verification to validation. We need to look for proof. This is where we step into the world of testimonials, before and after photos, and client reviews. Our brains are wired for this. We are social creatures, and we look to the experiences of others to inform our own decisions. It's a cognitive shortcut that helps us navigate a world of infinite choices. A trainer with a wall of glowing reviews and stunning transformation photos immediately feels safer and more credible than one with a barren website. And great coaches know this. They leverage their clients' success as their most powerful marketing tool. But this is also where the water gets murky, and where your critical thinking skills need to be sharper than ever. Because in the digital age, social proof can be a carefully constructed illusion. Let's start with the most dramatic and emotionally compelling form of proof, the before and after photo. You've seen them. The slouched, poorly lit before picture next to the tanned, flexed, and professionally lit after shot. They can be incredibly motivating, but you have to look at them with the eye of a detective. First, look for consistency. Is the person in the same room? Is the lighting remotely similar? Drastic changes in lighting, posture, and even clothing can create a night and day difference that has very little to do with actual body composition changes. A person sucking in their stomach, flexing every muscle, and standing under harsh overhead lighting will look dramatically different from that same person slouched over with their stomach relaxed under flat, fluorescent lights. It's the oldest trick in the fitness marketing book. Also, pay close attention to the timeline. A claim of losing 50 pounds in 2 months isn't just impressive. It's potentially dangerous and almost certainly unsustainable. Reputable coaches are proud of realistic, sustainable progress. They'll showcase transformations that happened over 6 months, a year, or even longer, because that's what real, lasting change looks like. Be deeply skeptical of anything that looks too good to be true, because in fitness, it almost always is. Next up are written testimonials and reviews. These can be gold mines of information, but again, you need to know what you're looking for. A review that says, "Coach John is the best. I lost 20 pounds." is nice, but it's not particularly helpful. It's a conclusion without a story. What you should be searching for is specificity. A powerful testimonial sounds more like this. "Working with Sarah was a game changer. I was terrified of lifting weights and always felt lost in the gym. She created a program that started with basics I could do at home, and her video feedback on my form gave me the confidence to finally walk into the weight room. It wasn't just about the 15 pounds I lost. It was about the strength and self-assurance I gained." See the difference? The second review tells you how the coach works. It tells you about their process, their communication style, and the emotional impact they had on the client. It describes a problem and a solution. Look for reviews that mention specifics. How the coach handled a client's busy travel schedule, how they modified exercises around an old knee injury, or how they provided support during a stressful week when motivation was low. These stories paint a much clearer picture of what it's actually like to work with this person. And be wary of a flood of generic 5-star reviews that all sound suspiciously similar, or were all posted within a few days of each other. That can be a red flag for purchased or fake reviews. But even with the most convincing photos and heartfelt testimonials, you are still only seeing a curated highlight reel. You haven't had a conversation. You haven't had a chance to see if your personality clicks with theirs. This brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important step in this entire process: the consultation call. This is your job interview with you as the hiring manager. This is where the digital facade falls away and you get to interact with the real human being you might be entrusting with your health, your money, and your time. Never, ever sign up with a coach without having a real-time conversation, whether it's a phone call or a video chat. A great coach will insist on this. They need to know if they can truly help you and if you're a good fit for their coaching style. A coach who is willing to take your money without speaking to you first is a massive red flag. They're likely more interested in client volume than client success. So, when you get on that call, your primary job is to listen, but your secondary job is to ask smart, targeted questions. Don't just ask, "How much does it cost?" Your goal is to understand their philosophy, their process, and their personality. Start with their philosophy. Ask them questions like, "Can you describe your overall coaching philosophy?" Or, "How do you define success for your clients? Do they only talk about weight on the scale and measurements? Or do they talk about energy levels, sleep quality, building sustainable habits, and improving your relationship with food and exercise?" One is a short-term approach. The other is a long-term, life-changing one. Then dig into their process. Get specific. What does your onboarding process look like for a new client? Can you walk me through how you would build my program from scratch? What platform or app do you use to deliver workouts and communicate? How often do we have formal check-ins? And what do those check-ins typically involve? A professional will have clear, confident answers to these questions. They should be able to articulate their system with ease. If their answers are vague or they seem to be making it up as they go, that's a problem. Now make it personal. This is the ultimate test. Present them with your unique challenges. Say something like, "I have a very unpredictable work schedule and travel for 2 weeks out of every month. How would you design a program to accommodate that?" Or, "I have a history of lower back pain and I'm nervous about certain exercises. How do you handle client injuries or limitations?" Their answer here will tell you everything you need to know about their ability to truly personalize a plan. If they give you a generic cookie-cutter answer, they're probably going to give you a cookie-cutter program. A great coach will get curious. They'll ask follow-up questions about your travel, your access to equipment on the road, the specifics of your back pain. They will start problem-solving with you right there on the call. Throughout this conversation, pay close attention to the dynamic. Who is doing most of the talking? A great consultation call should feel like a doctor's visit. The coach should be asking you dozens of questions about your health history, your lifestyle, your past experiences with fitness, your struggles, your goals, and your why. They should be listening intently, trying to get a complete picture of who you are. If the coach spends the first 20 minutes just talking about themselves, their accomplishments, and their secret formula, before they've even asked you about your sleep schedule, they are not a coach, they are a salesperson. And that brings us to the final set of red flags to watch for on the call. Be on high alert for high-pressure sales tactics. If you hear phrases like, "This special price is only available if you sign up before we hang up," you should end the call. A true professional is confident in the value they provide and will give you space to make an informed decision. They want clients who are all in, not ones who were pressured into a purchase. Also, listen for outrageous claims. A coach who talks about potential outcomes based on their experience with clients is one thing. A coach who makes grand promises about you losing a specific large amount of weight in an unrealistic time frame is another. That's a sign of desperation and a lack of integrity. That initial conversation is where a digital profile becomes a human connection, and it's the single best indicator of the type of partnership you're about to enter. But once you've had that amazing call and you're ready to move forward, you're faced with another confusing maze. Pricing and packages. How much should you actually be paying for online coaching? And what do those different price points even mean? We'll break down the entire financial side of things next. So let's pull back the curtain on the world of online coaching costs. It's not just a random number a coach pulls out of a hat. It's a reflection of access, personalization, and experience. Understanding this spectrum is the key to not overpaying, but more importantly, to not underpaying and ending up with a glorified PDF workout that gets you nowhere. Think of it in 3 main tiers. First, you have the low-cost entry-level tier. This typically ranges from about $50 to $150 a month. What does this get you? Usually, it's access to an app with a pre-built, template-based program. You might get to choose between fat loss or muscle gain. But the plan itself isn't designed specifically for you. It's designed for a category of person. Communication is often minimal, maybe through a community forum or a monthly group call. This isn't necessarily bad. If you're highly self-motivated, have some experience in the gym, and just need a structured plan to follow without much hand-holding, this can be an incredibly cost-effective option. It's like buying a detailed travel guide to a city. It gives you the map and the points of interest, but you're the one who has to navigate the streets, figure out the subway, and make the trip happen on your own. Next, we step into the mid-tier, which is where the vast majority of high-quality, personalized online coaching lives. We're talking a price range of roughly $150 to $400 a month. This is a significant jump, so what's the difference? The key word is personalization. Here, you're not getting a template. You're getting a program built from the ground up based on your goals, your schedule, your equipment access, your injury history, and your preferences. The communication is direct and consistent. You're likely getting weekly check-ins where your coach analyzes your progress, your form videos, and your feedback, and then makes adjustments to your plan for the following week. This is an active, evolving process. Instead of a travel guide, this is like having a personal GPS with live traffic updates. It knows your destination, but it's constantly rerouting you based on the roadblocks and opportunities that pop up along the way. This tier is the sweet spot for most people who need both a custom plan and a strong system of accountability to execute it. Then you have the premium high-tier coaching. This can be anything from $400 to $1,000 a month or even more. Now, before you get sticker shock, you have to understand what you're paying for. This is the concierge level of service. This is for the person who wants maximum support and minimum friction. The price is a function of access. You might have your coach's personal number for daily text check-ins. You might have multiple live calls per month. This level of coaching often includes deep dives into nutrition with a registered dietitian on their team, mindset coaching, and hyper-detailed lifestyle integration. These coaches are often specialists working with high-performance individuals, professional athletes, or people with complex medical or injury histories that require a very high-touch approach. This isn't just a GPS. This is having the inventor of the GPS sitting in the passenger seat, not only giving you directions but also managing your playlist, ordering your coffee, and making sure you enjoy the ride. It's not for everyone, but for those who need it, the value is immense. But the price tag itself only tells half the story. The real value is hidden in the details of the package. So when you're on a consultation call, you need to become an investigator. Don't just ask what's included. Ask specific, probing questions. Start with the programming. Ask, is this program built from a template? Or is it 100% custom for me? And then, how often do you adjust the program based on my progress? If the answer is every 12 weeks, that's very different from a coach who makes micro adjustments every single week based on your video feedback. Next, drill down on communication. This is arguably the biggest variable in online coaching. Unlimited support is a common phrase, but it's meaningless without definition. Ask them to define it. What is your average response time to a client's question during business hours? A professional will have a clear answer, like within 12 hours, or by the end of the business day. Ask, what is the primary method of communication? Is it email, a messaging app, scheduled calls? You need to know if their communication style matches your needs. If you need quick answers while you're at the gym and they only check emails once a day, that's a mismatch. Then, investigate the feedback and accountability loop. This is the mechanism that drives results. Ask, how do you assess my exercise form? The gold standard is video submission. You record a set, send it to them, and they send back a detailed analysis, either a voice note, a video of their own, or a detailed text breakdown. Ask, what does a weekly check-in look like? A great check-in is more than just reporting your weight. It should be a comprehensive review of your workouts, your nutrition, your energy levels, your sleep, your stress, the whole picture. It's a data-driven conversation that informs the plan for the next week. And you absolutely have to clarify nutrition. If a coach says nutrition coaching is included, your follow-up question must be, are you a registered dietitian or a certified nutritionist? A personal trainer without those specific credentials can offer general nutrition guidance, like tips on protein intake or healthy food choices, but they cannot legally or ethically prescribe specific meal plans, especially for individuals with medical conditions. Knowing this distinction is crucial for your safety and for understanding the true value of what's being offered. Now let's talk about the red flags you need to watch for in these packages. The first is vagueness. If a coach can't clearly articulate their process, their communication schedule, or what a check-in entails, run. It suggests a lack of systems, which means your experience will be inconsistent and chaotic. The second red flag is long-term, high-pressure contracts. It's reasonable for a coach to ask for a 3-month initial commitment. It takes time to build momentum, but be very wary of anyone demanding 6 or 12 months of payment up front, especially with no refund policy. A confident coach believes in their service and knows you'll want to stay. They don't need to lock you into a financial prison. And the biggest red flag of all? Promises of specific outcomes. Lose 20 pounds in 4 weeks. Get a six-pack this summer. A reputable professional coaches the process, not the outcome. They focus on building sustainable habits, improving your performance, and educating you for the long term. They know they can't control the number on the scale, but they can control the quality of the service they provide to help you get there. It's easy to look at a price of $300 a month and think, that's a car payment. That's a lot of money. And it is. But it's helpful to reframe it. You're not spending money. You're making an investment in the single most valuable asset you will ever own. Your own health and well-being. Think about it. People spend $5 on a coffee every morning without a second thought. That's $150 a month. They spend hundreds on dinners out, subscriptions they don't use, or clothes they wear once. The cost of a great online coach is often just a simple reallocation of resources from things that provide temporary pleasure to something that provides lifelong value. The return on this investment isn't just a better physique. It's more energy to play with your kids. It's more confidence during a presentation at work. It's developing the discipline and resilience that bleeds into every other area of your life. It's learning the skills to keep yourself healthy for the rest of your life, long after you've stopped working with that coach. The real cost isn't hiring a coach. It's the long-term cost of not figuring this out. So when you're on that call, don't think of it as a negotiation. Think of it as an interview to see if this person is the right steward for your investment. Ask the tough questions. A great coach will be excited to answer them. They'll be proud of their systems, confident in their process, and eager to explain the value they provide. The price is just a number. The value is the transformation. So you've navigated the maze. You found a coach you connect with, you understand their process, and you're comfortable with the investment. You're ready to sign up. But what happens the moment you click pay? The first 30 days with a new coach are the most critical period, and it can either set you up for incredible success or frustrating failure. We'll show you exactly what to expect and the green flags to look for in a world-class onboarding process next. So you've signed the contract, you've made the investment, and you're officially partnered with your new online coach. The real journey starts now. This initial 30-day period is the ultimate test of the coach you just hired. It's the onboarding phase, and it is everything. A great coach knows this is their window to build trust, establish a system, and lay the concrete foundation for all your future results. A bad coach sees it as the moment they can put you on autopilot. Let's break down what a world-class onboarding experience looks like week by week, so you can spot the difference immediately. Week 1 is all about deep discovery and establishing a communication rhythm. The initial consultation was just the trailer. This is the opening scene of the movie. Your coach should immediately send you a comprehensive intake package. This goes way beyond what are your goals. We're talking about a detailed questionnaire covering your injury history, your sleep patterns, your daily stress levels, your work schedule, your relationship with food, and your exact equipment availability. If they don't ask for this level of detail, they can't create a truly custom plan. They're just guessing. The next step in this first week is a movement assessment. This is non-negotiable. The coach should ask you to record and send videos of yourself performing a series of basic movements. Think bodyweight squats, push-ups from your knees or toes, a plank, maybe an overhead reach. They aren't judging you. They're analyzing your unique movement patterns. They're looking for muscle imbalances, mobility restrictions, and stability issues. A coach who skips this step is like a doctor prescribing medication without ever examining the patient. They're flying blind and you're the one at risk. Once they have your questionnaire and your movement screen, you should receive your initial program by the end of that first week. And here's a massive green flag. They don't just email you a spreadsheet or a PDF with a list of exercises. A top-tier coach will send you the program along with a personalized video walkthrough. They'll pull up the program on their screen and talk you through it, explaining the why behind their choices. They'll say things like, okay, based on your movement screen, I saw a little bit of rounding in your lower back on the squat, so we're starting with goblet squats to reinforce an upright torso. I've programmed 3 sets of 10, and I want you to focus on this specific cue. This single act transforms a confusing document into a clear, actionable plan. It shows they care, and it builds your confidence before you even lift a single weight. Communication in this first week should be at its peak. Your coach should be checking in with you almost daily. How did the first workout feel? Any questions about the app? How's your soreness level today? They are intentionally over-communicating to establish a baseline and make you feel supported. If you send a question and it takes them 48 hours to respond in this critical first week, that's a serious red flag. Their responsiveness now sets the precedent for the entire relationship. Now we move into week 2. This is the feedback loop week. It's all about execution, refinement, and adjustment. You've done a few workouts, you're getting the hang of the app, and now it's time for the coach to actually coach. You should be required to send videos of your main exercises for form review. Not just once, but regularly. This is arguably the most valuable part of online coaching. You send a video of your deadlift, and within 24 hours you get a detailed critique back. And again, let's look at the difference between average and elite. An average coach might reply with, "Looks good, keep it up." An elite coach will send you a video analysis. They might use an app to draw lines on your video, showing you the ideal bar path. They'll slow it down, freeze frames, and provide specific actionable cues. They'll say, "Notice here how your hips shoot up just a little too early? On your next set, I want you to think about keeping your chest up and pushing the floor away. Let's try that and send me another video." That is real high-value coaching. It's personalized, it's technical, and it's designed to make you better and safer. This is also the week where the first program adjustments should happen. No plan is perfect from the start. You might provide feedback like, "The lunges were really bothering my left knee," or "That last exercise felt way too easy." A great coach doesn't just say, "Okay, noted." They take that feedback and immediately adjust the plan. They might swap the lunges for a more knee-friendly alternative like a step-up, or increase the weight and lower the reps on the exercise you found too easy. This demonstrates that the program is a living, breathing document that adapts to you, not a rigid prescription you're forced to follow. If your coach is defensive or ignores your feedback, they care more about their program than your results. As we enter weeks 3 and 4, the theme becomes rhythm and reinforcement. The hypercommunication of week 1 might settle into a more sustainable pattern, like a dedicated check-in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But the quality of that communication should remain high. By now, you should be in a groove. You know how to perform the exercises, how to log your data, and how the feedback process works. Now your coach's role starts to evolve. They become a data analyst and a motivator. They should be looking at your workout logs and pointing out your progress. This is so important. They'll send a message saying, "Hey, I was just reviewing your log. I saw you hit 3 extra reps on your dumbbell press this week compared to last week. That's fantastic strength progress." Or, "Look at the video of your squat from week 1 compared to today. The difference in depth and control is night and day." They are actively searching for your wins and celebrating them with you. This reinforces your effort and proves they are paying meticulous attention to your journey. Towards the end of the first month, the conversation should naturally start to shift towards the future. A great coach is already thinking about phase 2. They'll start planting seeds, saying things like, "You've built a great base of consistency this month. For the next block of training, we're going to start introducing some more advanced techniques to really push your progress." This shows you they have a long-term strategy. You're not on a one-month plan. You're on a journey and they are the guide. A bad coach, on the other hand, will be silent. The end of the month will approach, and you'll have no idea what's next, which often means they don't either. You might have to be the one to ask, "So, what's the plan for next month?" which completely undermines their role as the expert. Finally, a world-class onboarding process culminates in a 30-day review. This could be a scheduled phone call, a video chat, or a detailed email exchange. It's a dedicated moment to pause and reflect. You'll discuss what went well, what challenges you faced, and how you're feeling both physically and mentally. You'll review your progress on metrics like weight, measurements, and strength gains. And most importantly, you'll collaboratively set clear, exciting goals for the next 30 to 90 days. This review solidifies the partnership. It confirms that you've both done your part and that you're aligned and ready for the next chapter. If your first 30 days look like this, filled with detailed assessment, personalized feedback, constant communication, data-driven adjustments, and forward-thinking planning, you've likely found a keeper. You've built a system for success. You feel heard, supported, and confident. But if your first month was filled with generic templates, slow communication, and a lack of personal attention, it's a glaring sign that you've hired a manager, not a coach. The foundation is cracked, and it's unlikely to get better from here. So you've navigated the first 30 days and you've found a fantastic coach. The system is in place. But how do you maximize this relationship for the long haul to get the absolute most out of your investment? And what are the subtle long-term red flags that might signal it's time to move on, even after a great start? We'll cover how to maintain and evaluate your coaching relationship to ensure you're getting the best possible results for years to come in our final part. So how do you spot these subtle long-term red flags? It starts by understanding that the coaching relationship, like any relationship, evolves. The first few months are often the honeymoon phase. You're excited, the workouts are new, and you're likely seeing rapid progress, often called newbie gains. The coach is attentive, you're motivated, and everything feels perfect. But the true test of a great coach isn't what happens in month 1. It's what happens in month 9 or year 2. The first and most common sign that things are souring is stagnation in your programming. In the beginning, your coach likely built a plan tailored to you. But as time goes on, do the workouts start to feel familiar? A little too familiar? Are you getting the same exercises in the same rep schemes with only minor tweaks to the weight? A great coach is a master of progressive overload and periodization. This means your training should have phases. There should be periods of high intensity, followed by periods of lower intensity for recovery. Your exercises should evolve as you get stronger and more skilled. If your program for month 10 looks suspiciously like your program for month 3, with just a few pounds added to the bar, you're not getting coached, you're just renting a spreadsheet. Your body adapts and your training must adapt with it. If your coach isn't proactively changing your plan based on your progress and feedback, their attention may have shifted elsewhere. This leads directly to the second red flag, a slow decay in communication. Remember that initial consultation call, where they were fully present, asking deep questions? Remember the detailed feedback on your first few workout videos? Now fast forward 6 months. Are your weekly check-ins met with one-sentence replies? Are your detailed questions answered with a generic "looks good"? Keep it up. This is a classic sign of a coach who has become overextended or has simply lost engagement with you as a client. High-level coaching is a dialogue. It's a partnership. When that dialogue becomes a monologue, just you sending in your data with little to no substantive feedback, the value plummets. You're no longer paying for their expertise, you're paying for a basic accountability service, and there are far cheaper ways to get that. The third subtle sign is a lack of deeper coaching. In the beginning, the focus is rightly on the fundamentals, learning proper form, being consistent, tracking your food. But a long-term coach should be evolving their coaching with you. They should be transitioning from just telling you what to do to teaching you why you're doing it. Are they helping you understand your body's cues? Are they teaching you about nutrition beyond just macros like nutrient timing or the importance of micronutrients? Are they talking to you about stress management, sleep hygiene, and building a resilient mindset? If the conversation never graduates beyond reps and sets, you're missing out on the most valuable part of coaching, the education that empowers you for life. A great coach's ultimate goal should be to make you so knowledgeable that you barely need them anymore. If it feels like they're intentionally keeping you in the dark to maintain your dependency, that's not coaching. It's a business model that doesn't have your best interests at heart. And this brings us to a crucial point that isn't even a red flag against the coach, but a green flag for you. You might have simply outgrown them. This is a natural and often positive evolution. The coach who was perfect for getting you from the couch to consistently lifting 3 times a week might not be the specialist you need to prepare for your first powerlifting meet. The trainer who helped you lose the first 50 pounds might not have the nuanced expertise to help you with the final 10, or to build a physique for a bodybuilding stage. Your goals become more refined, more specific. Recognizing this isn't a failure of the relationship, it's a testament to its success. A truly great coach will recognize this too, and might even recommend a specialist who can better serve your new, advanced goals. So, how do you put this all together and evaluate your relationship objectively? I recommend a structured quarterly performance review. Every 3 months, sit down and honestly assess the situation. Ask yourself these 5 critical questions. 1. Am I still being challenged in a smart, progressive way? Look back at your training logs. Is there clear evidence of progress and thoughtful adjustments? Or does it feel like you're just spinning your wheels on the same program? 2. Am I still learning? Are you gaining new insights about training, nutrition, or your own body that you can use independently? Or have the lessons dried up? 3. Does my coach truly understand my current goals and lifestyle? Life changes. A goal you set 6 months ago might not be your priority today. Does your coach proactively check in on this? Or are they still coaching the old you? 4. Is my feedback being heard and implemented? When you tell your coach that an exercise is causing pain, or that you're feeling burned out, or that you want to try a new style of training, do they listen and adapt the plan? Or do they dismiss your concerns and tell you to just trust the process? And 5, the big one. Is the value I'm receiving still aligned with the price I'm paying? Considering the level of personalization, communication, and education, does the monthly fee still feel like a worthwhile investment in your health? If you answer no to 2 or more of these questions, it may be time to consider moving on. And when you do, handle it professionally. The fitness community can be small. Don't just ghost your coach. Send them a clear, respectful email or message. You don't need to write a 10-page essay, but you should be direct. Start by acknowledging the good. John, I wanted to thank you for everything over the past year. I've made incredible progress and learned so much from you. Then state your decision clearly. I've decided to take my training in a different direction to focus on a new goal, and we'll be ending our coaching relationship at the end of this month. It's that simple. It's respectful, it provides closure, and it keeps the relationship professional. Throughout this entire series, we've journeyed from the very beginning of your decision to the very end of a coaching relationship. We started by defining your why, the deep-seated reason you're seeking change. We moved on to where to find qualified candidates, cutting through the noise of social media to find real professionals. We broke down the non-negotiable certifications and credentials that separate the experts from the enthusiasts. We gave you a playbook of precise, surgical questions to ask during a consultation call to uncover their true coaching style and philosophy. We exposed the immediate red flags, the high-pressure sales tactics and unrealistic claims that should have you running for the hills. We talked about navigating contracts and payment structures to protect yourself. And finally, we've looked at the long game. How to know when a great relationship has run its course and it's time for you to evolve. Finding the right online personal trainer isn't just about getting a workout plan. It's about finding a partner, a mentor, and an educator who can empower you to take permanent ownership of your health and well-being. It is one of the most powerful investments you can make in yourself. The process can seem daunting, but you are now equipped with a comprehensive framework to navigate it with confidence. You know what to look for, what to ask, and what to avoid. You have the tools to not only start strong, but to ensure your investment continues to pay dividends for years to come. Now, with this complete playbook in your hands, the next step is yours. I want you to take a moment and think about the single most impactful piece of information you learned throughout this entire series. Was it learning to differentiate between a weekend certification and a legitimate degree? Was it a specific question to ask on a consultation call that you'd never thought of before? Or was it this final piece on how to evaluate a long-term fit? Drop a comment below and share that one key takeaway. Reading through your insights helps the entire community learn and grow together, and it helps us all make smarter, more informed decisions on our fitness journeys. The power to build the body and life you want has always been within you. Now you have the knowledge to find the right guide to help you unlock it. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Go out there and get strong.